and welcome. Tonight, chaotic scene at the Mobolaji Johnson train station in Lagos. Intending travelers claim that ticketing hiccups and extortion by NRC officials are hampering federal government's free ride directive. Less than 2 days to Christmas, FCT residents lament high cost of commodities as they shop in preparation for the festivities. Former CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele leaves Kuje Correctional Center in the Federal Capital Territory after perfecting his bail conditions. And as the war in Gaza rages, Israel says it has arrested 200 Hamas and Jihad members in the past week for questioning.
And on business news tonight, Nigeria's central bank lifts its ban on cryptocurrency trading in the country, cites need for regulation of the activities. And on sports news tonight, Super Eagles forward Victor Osimhen signs a contract extension with Italian champions Napoli until 2026 with a yearly salary of $11 million.
Nigerians, especially those who plan to travel to various destinations to spend the Christmas and New Year holidays, had welcomed with joy the federal government's free and discounted transportation fares. But that euphoria appears to be disappearing as the implementation of the directive seems to have hit a brick wall. In Lagos, while road travelers claim there is no reduction in transport fares, those traveling by rail maintain that even though the train services are free, some officials at the train station are cashing in on the government's pronouncement to extort money from travelers. This report captures the situation in Lagos.
A seemingly normal flow of traffic and less congested expressways suggests a departure from the typical holiday rush. From our aerial perspective, the roads appear to be operating at a standard pace, indicating that, unlike previous years, there might be a decrease in long-distance holiday travel. While the spirit of the Yuletide may be in the air, the bus parks tell a different story. Although the federal government had promised a transportation waiver, which is a 50% slash on road transport this festive season, the travelers say there seems to be no reduction in the fares.
They didn't slash any price. The last time I traveled, I think saying Chisco, I paid 17,000 naira to Lagos. Now, 30,000 naira.
The price has never reduced. I think I went home about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and what I paid at that time is what I'm paying today.
I don't normally, like 3,500, 4,000 maximum. That's how we used to enter before the fuel increase and all that. And coupled with the fact that this is Yuletide season, now, as at this morning, I'm going to Adoik, it is 7,000 naira, 7,100.
The federal government's intervention also includes train services, which are to operate at zero cost to and fro on their travels this holiday season. But a visit to the Mobolaji Johnson station at Ebutemeta shows that even though the ride is actually free, getting on board the train is a different story.
Though the train has been declared free for everybody, but it's unfortunate that the staff here are collecting 3,000 naira from people to shunt the queue. I've been here since 6:02. Men that came before me are on the queue. Men that came after, they have been taking them inside, collecting 3,000 naira from each person.
I've been here since 5 a.m., yes. Then they told us to queue. We came early, we queued. At some point, they told us that they want to switch on the gen to make it orderly. And we followed the procedure. Then, a few minutes later, after they on the lights, they were asking people who had the ticket to come in. And whereas people that were trying to book 3 days ago, we were trying to book, the site was down. We were not able to book the ticket online. And we were telling them to let us go in. They said no. But at some point, we noticed that they were collecting money. They collected money from some people, and which they had them to enter. And those people that cannot pay, that want to follow due process, was unable to enter.
When we go here, they should have just told us that if you don't have ticket to be going back to your house or use the other public transport. But they just kept us here till now. See, people are even still around, and it doesn't even make sense. And the officials, they're collecting money. Bribing and corruption. No, it's bad.
The process is not good at all. I've enjoyed this thing before. I think maybe last year or 2 years ago when they first opened this screen. So it wasn't like this. You just come, you show them your ID card, either NI or anything, and they let you in. They give you the e-ticket. That one is very easy.
Charles TV is here already. You are doing what is very, very wrong.
Yes.
You are doing what is very, very wrong. Everybody should validate. That's the ticket. Which ticket? When the ticket to use
this thing is free now. They should not be free now. They should not be free now. Which ticket? Which ticket?
The roads are the arteries of holiday travel, but the unusual calm at bus parks and congested train services suggests a different pattern in holiday travel this year.
Meanwhile, in the nation's capital, commuters have also been complaining of challenges in getting their tickets online, which has resulted in many of them being stranded at the Idu station in Abuja as they wait for their trip to Rigasa in Kaduna State. The railway authorities, however, say most of the complaints are coming from people with third-party tickets, which is not allowed in its operations. Our correspondent, Kayla Megwa, has the rest of the story.
This crowd of passengers in front of the Idu train station in Abuja are not being allowed into the station because they have issues with their train tickets. We sought for explanations from the operations manager of the Idu train station.
Some of those people you see over there, they have a third-party ticket, and we don't allow such things to happen because the third-party ticket indicates that they are not the real owner of the ticket. And with the help of the NIMC, we are able to detect that the pictures that are showing there, they are not the real owner of the ticket. So we don't allow that to happen. With the help of the security people around, we have to send a lot of them out. So if you want to buy your ticket, you must have your NIMC, your email, and your address, everything, and your phone number must be well intact. So if there's any deviation among these, even while you are processing your ticket, you won't be able to get it. In that situations, if you don't get ticket, it implies that you won't be allowed to come into the platforms or enter the train for security reasons.
As we heard from the management of the Idu train station here in Abuja, they're dealing with ticketing issues as well as the concept of free rides this Yuletide from Abuja to Kaduna and back. There are, however, 2 train rides from Abuja to Kaduna and 2 from Kaduna to Abuja every single day. And the morning train ride at 8 a.m., which leaves Rigasa, is actually on its way right here. And hopefully, when it lands right here beside me on these tracks, we'll be able to talk to a few of the people who took that ride and see what their experiences are. As expected, at 10:30 a.m., the train from Rigasa in Kaduna arrives in Idu. Tired yet excited passengers tell us their experience on the trip.
The ride was free, quite free. The only little experience we had was like challenging in booking online because everybody has to book online and show your booking ticket before boarding. But when we went online, quite a number of us could not book. You know, it was network or I don't know what was happening. But like I made booking for me and my wife, but I could not book for my children. So when we got there, we have to exercise patience because it was strictly confirming through the ticket if you have the booking. But eventually later on, they allowed the minor to go in, despite the fact that they did not have their own tickets.
Online, no issues at all. It was easy. You go online and book. Then you can pick your seats, and it's a successful trip.
I really enjoyed the trip. It was real fun, and I could see everything that was going on because I sat close to the window.
I enjoyed the ride of the train, and thanks from the President of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Thank you.
528 economy seats, and 224 VIP seats, which initially cost 3,600 naira and 6,500 naira respectively, all paid for by the federal government and available for all who are interested to benefit from this Yuletide, as these passengers have. The free train rides will last to the 4th of January 2024, and passengers are urged to follow the proper online procedures or risk being sent back at the station. Kayla Magwa, Channels Television News.
Staying in the nation's capital, residents have been groaning over the high prices of livestock and other commodities as they shop for Christmas. Some of the shoppers who spoke to Channels Television say the prices of consumables considered special delicacies for the season have more than doubled. Some of the traders attribute the increase in prices to high inflation and the pump price of petrol, which they say have led to an increase in the cost of moving the goods to the market.
The countdown to Christmas is on. Unexpectedly, residents in the Federal Capital Territory are in the market to shop for the essentials for the celebrations. At the Otaku Market in Abuja, business activities are a bit slow compared with previous years. Around the market, the prices of food commodities, including livestock and perishable goods such as tomatoes and pepper, have gone up.
I bought tomatoes for almost 12,500. Then, in short, I bought a ram for 180,000. It wasn't like that before now. So seriously, obviously, everything is high in the market.
No money anywhere. Everybody is complaining. There's no money. The fuel is high. Everything is high in the market. So, man, so everything is high. I feel like for me now, every December I do go to the charity. I give people bag of fries. But this year, nothing. I can't give them because there's no money. I really want to help, but there's no money to help.
The National Bureau of Statistics stated in its October 2023 Consumer Price Index report that headline inflation rose to 27.33% relative to the inflation rate in September 2023, which was 26.72. Those figures apply now. It is not just the inflation rate alone that is affecting the preparations for the Christmas. The ongoing naira scarcity appears to be adding additional pressure to the system and causing some despair.
The worst part of it is even to get the money, the cash, the naira to even buy things in the market is another issue. If you make a transfer, you have to wait the money to drop before they allow you to go. That's another problem again. And again, touch anything here now. You come to the market with 100,000 naira, you can't get anything. A bag of rice is about 55,000 naira in the market.
I just finished buying because I'm about to give the motherless babies home some drinks and stuff like that. And unfortunately, I didn't have the cash on me. But apparently, I'm being charged just to get 10,000 naira out of a POS. I'm being charged 400, 500 naira on 10,000 naira. And it's ridiculous because there's no cash around. And that's very painful because I'm trying to do a good thing. I'm trying to be charitable during the season. And I'm almost being punished for it. So that's very painful.
There are, however, some optimists who seem undeterred by the high cost of goods.
For me, my motto is when there's life, there's hope. So I believe Nigerians will definitely celebrate their Christmas in a grand style. If they go to the market they cannot afford, let them buy what they can afford. Christmas is not a do or die thing.
Increase in the prices of food items and livestock is almost a norm during festive seasons. However, this year, the fuel subsidy removal, the high inflation rate and the cash scarcity appear to be adding to the pressure. But the celebration must go on.
In part two, after the break, abducted judge and traditional ruler regained freedom in Akwa Ibom and Taraba states, just as 52 kidnapped victims are rescued by troops in Sokoto. That's in a moment. Join us again. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Chaotic scene at the Mobolaji Johnson train station in Lagos. Intending travelers claim that ticketing hiccups and extortion by NRC officials are hampering federal government's free ride directive. Less than 2 days to Christmas, FCT residents lament high cost of commodities as they shop in preparation for the celebrations. Former CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele leaves Kuje Correctional Center in the Federal Capital Territory after perfecting his bail conditions. And as the war in Gaza rages, Israel says it has arrested 200 Hamas and Islamic Jihad members in the past week for questioning. To legal matters now. Former Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, has been released from the Kuje Correctional Center in the FCT after his lawyers perfected his bail conditions. His lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria, Matthew Buka, confirmed this to Channels Television. Justice Hamza Muazu of the Federal Capital Territory High Court had granted him bail in the sum of 300 million naira with 2 sureties in like sum. Mr. Emefiele was arraigned on a 6-count charge bordering on procurement fraud and using his position to confer a corrupt advantage on one Ms. Saidatu Yaro, a staff of CBN, by awarding a contract for the procurement of 43 vehicles worth 1.2 billion naira between 2018 and 2020. While he was remanded in Kuje, the former CBN governor was mandated to deposit all his travel documents with the court registrar and must remain within the Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC. The trial into his alleged procurement of vehicle has already begun before Justice Hamza Muazu. From legal to security issues, in Akwa Ibom State, a judge of the state judiciary, Justice Joy Nwana, who was abducted on Monday, has regained her freedom. She was kidnapped on her way back to Uyo from a court sitting in Oron town alongside her driver after the kidnappers shot and killed her orderly. Upon her freedom, she was received by the state governor, Pastor Umo Eno, at the government house in Uyo, the state capital. The governor thanked God for her safe release and gave the assurance that under his watch, the state will not be a haven for criminals.
We like to say that we will continue to do all that it takes to ensure that Akwa Ibom remains safe under our watch. And these criminals, you know, they are not residents in Akwa Ibom. They just come in, attack, and then use the creeks. But I can assure them that either we take justice to them or we bring them to justice.
Meanwhile, the governor has also met with the widow of the police orderly killed during the incident, as well as the driver to the judge. He promised that the state government will support the policeman's family, especially the education of their children, while pledging to handle the medical bills and other expenses of Justice Nwana's driver, who was also injured in the attack. In a related development, but this time in Taraba State, where the police command says it has rescued the traditional ruler abducted alongside 20 others on Tuesday in Yaro local government area. The police commissioner in the state mentioned this shortly after a security meeting with the governor, Mr. Abu Kefas. He added that a police officer was shot dead during the gun duel, while they succeeded in killing 3 of the kidnappers.
We have been battling to ensure that we rescue them, and I must let you know, in the course of trying to rescue these kidnapped victims, we equally lost a gallant police officer in the course of the operation. But all the same, I can tell you that some of them now have regained their freedom, including the second-class chief. He's at home now with his family. You know, we share common boundary, traditional boundary with Cameroon. There are infiltrations, but all the same, we have our men at the borders, checkmating the influx of foreigners, and that will continue. We have deployed our men to cover all the nooks and crannies of Taraba State. We, in conjunction with other sister security agencies, we have definitely going to drive the criminals out of the state. Those who still remain recalcitrant, we'll make sure that they are arrested, prosecuted, and put behind bars, so that we can have a very blissful Christmas and a happy New Year.
There's also cheery news coming out of Sokoto State, where troops of the Joint Task Force Northwest Operation, Hadarindaji, have rescued 52 kidnapped victims during a coordinated operation in Isa local government area. In a statement today, Captain Yahya Ibrahim, that's the spokesperson of the operation, explained that the feat was recorded yesterday when the troops cleared and destroyed several terrorist hideouts. He said several terrorists were also neutralized in the process. The rescued victims include 14 males, 32 females, and 6 children who will undergo medical checkup being handled by the appropriate authorities that will reunite them with their families. Away from security matters now, the Minister of Environment, Mr. Balarabe Lawal, has called on the people of Ogoniland to give the necessary support to the ongoing clean-up project, which is aimed at reviving their environment and livelihood. Mr. Lawal made the call during a visit to the area to commission some projects. The United Nations Environment Programme report on the cleanup was initiated in 2011, with the exercise commencing properly in 2017. Our correspondent, Deborah Agbalama, has this report.
It is the first official visit of the Minister of Environment, Mr. Balarabe Lawal, to Ogoniland in Rivers State. The visit, according to him, is to reassure the people that they have not been forgotten by the federal government. The mission of the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, HYPREP, is the remediation and restoration of the area after years of severe pollution due to oil exploration. The minister is also commissioning 4 completed water projects in Ebubu, Korokoro, Pine, and Terabo communities, all in Ogoni LGA, as well as the inspection of ongoing projects in the area. The minister acknowledges that the days that anyone could have reasons to complain that HYPREP is slow has gone, and all hands are on deck.
For the first day I resumed as minister on the 17th of November, the first meeting I had was on the issue of Ogoni when I joined the joint meeting between the DOT and the governing council. So we will try to see that we address all the issues that relate to this particular project, which I think has been going on for the last 7 years.
On the part of the project coordinator of HYPREP, Professor Nene Barani Zabe, Ogoni is presently like a construction site. The United Nations Environmental Programme representative, Hassan Pato, makes known their stance so far on the project.
HYPREP embarked on providing potable water in its Phase 1 water scheme with the award of 6 water contracts in March 2021. Today, we witnessed the commissioning of 4 water facilities to provide potable water to more Ogoni communities.
It's very pleasing for us to see that HYPREP has advanced beyond its original mandate to remediate oil-contaminated sites, to support in the provision of essential services and livelihoods.
I will be calling on the project coordinator.
Some Ogoni stakeholders present at an interactive session with the minister on day 2 of his visit take turns to present their different requests.
So if you can join us in upgrading whatever effort we are doing around the Center of Excellence for the Environment into a federal environmental environment, that we must appreciate it. This project is not an agency. It is a project, and a project has lifespan. So like the professor indicated very strongly, let us try to support this project so that we can move forward. Because if it stays for a long time, there will be a time that another government will come in and say, all right, we have stayed here for too long, let's move to another area.
The cleanup exercise is expected to give the people of Ogoniland a breath of fresh air, but their joy will be complete only when the project is successfully concluded. From Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital, Deborah Balama, Channels Television News.
To health matters in Edo State, where Governor Godwin Obaseki has resolved to make health insurance compulsory for every employer of labor in the state, starting from January 2024. The governor made a pronouncement during the flag-off of the Free Enrollment for Pensioners program to the Edo State Health Insurance Scheme. The pensioners were also promised a 13th month's pension bonus at the event, which held at the Festival Hall of the Government House in Benin City, the state capital.
Registration is in progress as pensioners in Edo State get free enrollment into the state health insurance scheme. The Edo Health Insurance Scheme provides quality healthcare services ranging from consultation to surgery at subsidized rates.
It is heartening to see the positive impact of the Edo Health Insurance Scheme.
However, for retired civil servants in Edo State, it is free, courtesy of the state government.
The impact of providing healthcare coverage ushers the state into an era of inclusivity, compassion, and empathy. This decision you have made sends a message to our civil and public service, making it much more interesting for the best minds to come and work with us.
Governor Godwin Obaseki says the decision to make healthcare delivery free for pensioners is payback for their contributions to the state's development while in active service.
Nigeria did not start today and will not end today. So those people who built this country, built our states, built our organizations to where we are today, it will be unfair, it will be a sin to God and man not to remember their efforts. Even though things are not working the way we expect them to, it is not only their fault. And that is not enough reason why we should not acknowledge them and care for them.
Moving forward, Mr. Obaseki says health insurance will be compulsory for all business owners in Edo State next year.
From January, I'm going to be doing something that's not too good. I'm going to be going around every company in Edo to check whether they have registered their staff in the health insurance. Anyone that does not register, we will bring out the law and we'll make sure that we will implement the law to the fullest.
The day gets better for the pensioners. They've been included in the 13th month salary largesse from the state government.
We are going to get our 13 months.
The state government has also confirmed that the free enrollment into the Edo Health Insurance Scheme will be extended to personnel of the state security network.
Still ahead on the news at 10, the Central Bank of Nigeria lifts its ban on cryptocurrency trading in the country, cites need for regulation of their activities. That's on Business News. Join us again. Welcome back. 250 vulnerable elders in Lagos have benefited from the Renewed Hope Initiative Elderly Support Scheme of the First Lady, Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu. The initiative, launched at the Lagos House, Alausa Ikeja, by the wife of the governor, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, is targeted at the beneficiaries who are senior citizens of Lagos. She says the scheme is to support them at this difficult time to enjoy the festive season.
Selected elderly citizens of Lagos, drawn from the 5 Ibile divisions of the state, are gathered at the Lagos House, Alausa Ikeja, for the Renewed Hope Initiative Christmas package unveiled by the First Lady of Nigeria, Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu, in Abuja. Each state has been allocated 25 million naira for the scheme, and 250 senior citizens of Lagos from age 65 and above are here to receive their own support fund from the government. The Lagos state government also used the opportunity to carry out free health checkup for the elderly, who will also be receiving free 1-year health insurance under the Lagos State Health Insurance Scheme. Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, who is championing the cause as the state coordinator of Lagos, says the empowerment program is to ensure the well-being of the elderly across all states of the federation.
Now, this is the maiden edition of this one at the national level. We will, by the grace of God, continue this at the state level, local government level. Her Excellency has requested that we nominate 250 elders in the state to cut across the 5 divisions of Lagos State: Ikeja, Badagry, Ikorodu, Lagos Island, and Epe. And that is why we have a fair representation of you people here.
After receiving their 100,000 naira check from the state government, the people expressed gratitude to the federal government.
It is something that came to me as a surprise. I really appreciate. I appreciate the Renew Hope initiative.
I'm very, very happy, very, very grateful. I already know that this Christmas is going on well, smoothly for me. So I'm very grateful to the federal government.
The new system of the government we are now, I can be able to see it that with prayers, things will continue to normalize. And then I would like to appeal to my people to be a little patient more.
This is to cushion the effect of the economic situation and alleviate the burdens of the elderly during the festive period. And the Lagos State government has promised to sustain the initiative to ensure that they are not abandoned in their old age.
Still in the spirit of the season, the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has appealed to Nigerians to continue to pray for the good of the nation, believing that God will restore Nigeria fully. She made the plea during a Christmas luncheon with children at the State House, Abuja. She said the Yuletide is a season to give, just as God gave mankind the gift of Christ, and it's a chance to inspire the children for a glorious future.
This year's Christmas 2023, we've decided to change the trajectory of what Christmas represents in State House. At least for us in this dispensation, I'm thinking that we have to adopt a home per year. Next year, another home will come so that the children can have a sense of well-being and also to give them a sense of belonging. They are all Nigerians, and you can see that they have dreams like every one of us. And bringing them here to know that nothing is impossible, that, they too can become, the person who God will put in a place like this. And they won't say, oh, we've never seen it before. So you start training them and giving them the wherewithal to be able to experience an environment like this. And it changes them. So this is what this Christmas message is all about, and to remind them about the sacrificial death of Christ and how the love of Christ has made him to lay his life down for mankind. And that is what we have to do as a nation. Continue to make the necessary sacrifice, and then for a lot of people to benefit. So it's not about us; it's about the generations that come after us. So we give them a very good foundation, and we believe that their lives will be better than ours. So it is.
Staying with the Christmas celebration, the 17th edition of the annual Kesintin Adebutu Christmas Carol of 9 Lessons has held at his Marble House country home in Ikenne local government area of Ogun State. Former President of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, family and friends of the Adebutus, the Ogun State PDP governorship candidate in the March 18th election, Mr. Ladi Adebutu, and his deputy, religious and traditional rulers, amongst other distinguished personalities, graced the occasion.
It's the 17th edition of the annual Sir Kesintin Adebutu Christmas Carol, and it's also time for important personalities from across the state to join the patriarch of the Adebutu family in the auspicious moment to thank God for the love, mercy and care always, especially in the outgoing year. The congregation is treated to some melodious songs by choirs from around the state and beyond including the popular BJ Sax, and the congregation really had a great time. Speaking to the theme of the service, the officiating minister and the Bishop of Remo Central, Bishop Amos Kayode Oluogunride, highlights the purpose of the birth of Jesus Christ, just as he predicts a better 2024 despite the current socio-economic challenges.
It is when we have the full knowledge of the purpose of Christ's birth into the world, then we will be able to accept him with all our heart and allow him to transform our lives, to transform our homes, and to transform our community. Especially this nation we call Nigeria.
The patriarch of the Adebutu family, Sir Kazentine Adebutu, who apparently could not hide his feelings for God's love and mercy in the outgoing year, is joined by the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, on the dance floor. In his address, the governorship candidate of the PDP in the last governorship election in Ogun State, Ladi Adebutu, seizes the occasion to ask for unity of purpose in his hometown, Ogun State in Nigeria.
We truly hope that we will be able in time to create unity and work in synergy and create a greater Remo land and, of course, a better Ogun State, a successful Ogun State, and Ogun State with good governance as a measure of success that will transmit and radiate success to Nigeria.
Next, it's time for a special prayer for the Adebutu family.
Lord Jehovah God, we thank you for the gift that you have made him to be to his generation. Thank you for sparing his life. Thank you for sparing the life of his wife. Thank you for sparing the lives of the children, the grandchildren, and everybody that is connected to Papa Adebutu.
The event comes to a close with the cutting of the cake by Sir Kazentine Adebutu, who was joined by other distinguished personalities.
More stories now. The federal government has vowed to seal companies that violate the labor law on occupational safety and health. By this announcement, Nigerians are to expect a nationwide clampdown on factories and industries that are not certified by the Department of Occupational Safety and Health at the Ministry of Labour and Employment in the new year. The Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Honorable Nkiruka Oyejelka, stated this during a tour of the ongoing construction of the Secretariat of the National Directorate of Employment in Abuja.
If you can look around, you see that there are many factories in the country, and you see that there are many factories who are not taking care of health of workers into consideration. Last week or 2 weeks ago, we just sealed one factory because of health of workers. And so those are the things Nigerians will expect, that factories must be registered under OSH. Their licenses must be renewed every year, and we must inspect their facilities and their environment to make sure they are not killing Nigerians or they are not killing their workers. And so those are the things that Nigerians will expect. And we will collaborate with the union. You understand? Because if they don't know what we do, that we are caring for their workers, they may not even understand that we care for them. The workers are their people. They are the members of unions. So that's the kind of thing Nigerians will be expecting from Ministry of Labour and Employment, not just about conflict resolution. We have a lot of departments in this ministry. that will also leverage on the policy of this present government.
Time to find out what's happening in the world of business. Willie Bong has details. Thanks, Melinda, and welcome to Business News. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria has lifted a restriction it earlier imposed on cryptocurrency transactions in the country. Now, in a statement released today, the financial markets regulator says the removal of the ban became necessary since the current global trends have shown the need for regulation of activities in the market. Before now, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, in May last year, published regulations for digital assets. They signaled Africa's most populous country was trying to find a middle ground between an outright ban on crypto assets and their unregulated use. In February 2021, the CBN barred banks and financial institutions from dealing in or facilitating transactions in crypto assets, citing money laundering and terrorism financing risks. Now let's check out the FX markets, where the foreign exchange trading at the FMDQ exchange closed positive this week as the total turnover of transactions carried out rose by 41.02% week on week as of December the 22nd. Key highlights of the trading activity shows that the improved turnover was jointly driven by the FX spot and FX derivatives turnover, which rose by 37.91% and 586.29% accordingly. Now, a further breakdown shows total value of transactions at FX spot markets climbed by 24.33% to $654.61 million, while transactions at the FX derivatives market rose by more than 50% to $23.63 million. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Fixing, the NAFEX segment of the market, the Naira firmed by 0.28% to 893 Naira 51 kobo against the dollar at the official window, now in contrast to 896 Naira 3 kobo recorded in the previous week. From there, we move to the unlisted securities market, where it also maintained its winning streak, with a gain of 2.94% from 902.99 points in the previous week to 929.5 points. And this comes as investors in that market gained 40 billion naira from 12 stocks, which include Food Concept, Aradel Holdings, and UBN Property. However, the volume of securities traded during the third trading week of December was lower by 91.06% in contrast to the previous week at 57.85 million units. The value was also down by more than 82%, while the number of deals carried out dropped by 1.19%. Now, in the domestic equities market, which is the broader market, it ended the week strongly in positive territory, up by more than 2%, as the impact of bargain hunting in 4 sessions countered the loan loss recorded on Friday. Now, performance on the sectoral indexes table was also positive, except for the consumer goods counter, which fell by 0.7%. Infinity Trust was top out of 55 gainers, with more than 60% gain on its share price, while Associated Bus Company led 34 other losers with 16.48% loss. Now, the 3 of Abe Mortgage, Transcore, and Access Holdings were the major contributors to a total of 2.47 billion volume of equities traded this week. Now let's bring you some key highlights of the expectations for Nigeria's financial market for next week. And we start with the market observing Christmas break from Monday the 25th to Tuesday, December the 26th, with quiet trading expected within the last 3 trading days of the year. At the bonds market, traders expect bullish trend to linger, while traders resume from the Christmas break on Wednesday, December the 27th. Over to the Treasury bills market, where mild demand for debt instruments is expected to dominate the sessions. At the money market, overnight lending rates is expected to remain depressed due to the healthy system liquidity, while equities market is expected to trade with mixed sentiment amid positioning by investors for the fourth quarter and the full year 2023 financial results. And that's a wrap on Business News. It's back to Melinda for the rest of the news at 10. Many thanks, Will. Now let's cross over to Abuja studios where Victoria Longjohn has the latest from the world of sports.
Thank you, Melinda. Welcome to Sports News. Super Eagles forward Victor Osimhen has signed a contract extension with Napoli until 2026, ending months of speculations over whether he will commit to the Italian champions. Report says a release clause worth $143 million has been inserted to ensure the club does not lose their star player without cashing in. The 24-year-old will also earn $11 million a year after tax. Osimhen was named African Player of the Year after helping Napoli to their first league title in 33 years and also becoming the league's top scorer with 26 goals. And Borussia Dortmund's rising star Karim Adeyemi has visited Nigeria on a mission to foster grassroots football development. Adeyemi toured the revamped Maracana Stadium in Ajegunle, Lagos, as part of his philanthropic works during the winter break in the German Bundesliga. The 21-year-old Nigerian-born German says he is committed to offering educational and football opportunities to talented players. He has scored twice for Borussia Dortmund this season.
On the way here, I ate also amala, so it's everything is good. So yeah, I enjoy everything. Every time I come here, I feel like home. My friends also, they are not from Nigeria, but they come here because I always tell them it's a nice thing to see, and yes, so I always enjoy it here. Not everybody has the chance to come to a better league or maybe to Europe and make his way through everything. So I think yeah, we try to let children from a young age play football. Let them see how it is, and if they're really good, everything can happen.
And in the English Premier League, Arsenal ensured they will spend Christmas Day on top of the table as they held title rivals Liverpool to a pulsating 1-1 draw at Anfield. Manchester United crashed to a dismal 2-0 defeat at West Ham United that piled pressure on under-fire manager Erik ten Hag. Tottenham Hotspur moved into the top four after beating Everton 2-1 in the thrilling encounter. Luton Town lived up to their pledge of making it a special day for recovering captain Tom Lockyer by defeating Newcastle United 1-0 at Kenilworth Road. Wilson Odebert's stunning goal helped Burnley climb off the bottom of the table with a 2-0 victory at Fulham. Dominic Solanke scored a hat-trick as Bournemouth stunned Nottingham Forest 3-2. And Rebecca Welch has become the first woman to referee an English Premier League football match when she blew the whistle on Fulham's game against Burnley at Craven Cottage on Saturday. Welch was working for the National Health Service when she began her refereeing career in 2010. She rose through the officiating ranks and in 2021 became the first woman appointed to referee a match in the English Football League when she took charge of the fourth-tier fixture between Harrogate and Port Vale. The 40-year-old was also the first female official to referee matches in the Championship and third round of the FA Cup. And that's it on Sports News. It's back to you, Melinda.
Many thanks, Victoria. On the international scene, Israel says it has arrested 200 Hamas and Jihad members in the past week for questioning back home. Some of the suspects were said to have been hiding among the civilian population and surrendered voluntarily. According to Israeli authorities, a total of 700 Palestinian militants have been arrested since the country launched its military operation and invasion of Gaza. Hamas accuses Israel of killing mostly women and children in its operations, but Israel has insisted that it takes steps to avoid civilian casualties and blames Hamas for embedding itself in densely populated areas. Meanwhile, Israel announced that 5 more of its soldiers had been killed in the war, bringing the total number of military casualties to 144 since it launched its ground operation. An interesting news coming from the United States. A woman with a rare double uterus has given birth twice in 2 days. Yes, twice in 2 days. After a 1 in a million pregnancy and a total of 20 hours in labor. 32-year-old Kesley Hetcher delivered a daughter on Tuesday and another on Wednesday at the University of Alabama Birmingham Hospital. The girls will be seen as fraternal twins with separate birthdays. The University of Alabama describes the double uterus as a rare congenital anomaly affecting 0.3% of women. Even less common, at 1 in a million, is the likelihood of a woman becoming pregnant in both uterus at the same period. Ms. Hetcher is now back home with the newest members of her family. And the main news again. Chaotic scene was the order of the day at the Mobolaji Johnson train station in Lagos today, as intending travelers claimed that ticketing hiccups and extortion by NRC officials marred federal government's free ride directive. Residents of the FCT have voiced their frustration over the high cost of commodities as they went shopping in preparation for this year's Christmas celebration. That's the news at 10 tonight. I'm Melinda Akinlami. On behalf of the team, good night.